Hello, welcome to session number 6, tutorial number 2, Manage Project Team Process. Learning outcomes. At the end of this video, you will be able to understand the interpersonal skills that are required to manage the project team successfully. We also discuss conflict management during this video. Therefore, at the end of the video, you will be able to understand what is a conflict and how you navigate through these conflicts to resolve them. In managing project teams, it's important to keep an issue log. Many project managers keep a log of issues to be resolved. It allows the project management team and the stakeholders to look at the existing issues. I personally prefer keeping track of RAID. RAID stands for risks, assumptions, issues, and dependencies. Generally, this could be one Excel document that maintains all the risks, assumptions, issues, and dependencies for the given project. Managing project teams could be done using agile, traditional, and lean ways. PM Buck talks about traditional project management. However, the latest version also talks about the agile approach. Since most of the organizations globally are moving towards agile mindset and lean mindset, it's important that we adopt some of these agile and lean practices in managing project teams. While traditional project management talks about command and controlling, micromanagement, giving in detail instruction to the team to perform their duties, agile and lean emphasize on an approach which supports more collaboration, creates empowered and self-organized teams. Project manager, power of project manager. You can use different types of power when getting cooperation from the team and stakeholders. First one is formal or legitimate power, and this comes from your position. For example, you see an example here. You need to listen to me. I'm in charge. So here you are using your position. However, agile leadership approach will not encourage the same. Agile wants you to be a servant leader. You're not going to use any sort of power to influence the people. Let the people figure out the right way. You're just facilitating the process. You're emphasizing to project team members that you are the project manager and the team members should listen to you. That is what the traditional project management approach suggests. Therefore, this is an example of using formal power. Reward stems from giving rewards. For example, you can say to a project team member, based on your performance, you will code the screen you want as next assignment. So you are rewarding him that if he performs well in his current activity, he will have the preference to select the screen he will code as next assignment. Penalty or coercive power. And this is able to penalize team members. For example, team members overdue in their task will not attend to the company party. So you are here analyzing the overdue resources by not attending to company party. And this is an example of penalty power of project managers. Next, power of project manager expert. And this actually comes from being technical or project management expert. And the last type of power of project manager is referent power. And this is actually power of charisma and fame. For example, best project manager of the company, Nelly, states that we should change the scope statement template of our company. Here, the person who is saying this sentence, what Nelly told about the scope statement template of our company is admiring Nelly. And he or she expresses what Nelly stated about the scope statement template of the company. And this is an example of referent power of project manager or referent power of Nelly on the other people in the company. Expert and reward are best form of power. And penalty is the worst choice because you penalize your project team members. And this can cause demotivation in your project team. Formal, reward, and penalty powers are derived from project manager's position in the company. But expert power is earned on your own because expert power was coming from the knowledge of project management or a technical knowledge in a specific area. And this is earned by getting experience in specific areas. Although we discuss different types of power project manager can use to lead the people, the modern trend or the agile approach does not encourage any of them. What agile emphasizes is the collaboration. You're not a project manager in an agile context. If you are the one who is leading the team, you become a servant leader, a coach, and a facilitator in your project team. You try to influence the people through the right action, being proactive, doing the right thing. And you are aiming to create high-performing teams who will understand, who will have a lot of autonomy to deliver the best value possible. Conflict management. Conflicts are inevitable in a project environment because nature of projects require needs and requirements of many stakeholders. As you remember from our previous lectures, several stakeholders have several requirements from a project. And there should be a balance of these stakeholders' needs in the project. And generally, this is not easy. And you should balance the needs of your stakeholders in your project. And then conflicts arise due to competing requirements of different stakeholders, and these conflicts should be resolved. Also, conflicts may arise due to limited power of project managers. Although you might be project manager for the project, you might not have the ultimate authority in the company. And you can have a limited level of decision or a limited level of initiatives. And for the decisions that you cannot take on your own, or for the problems that you cannot solve on your own, you have to escalate the issue to upper management level. Therefore, these might cause conflicts in projects. This is still obtaining resources from functional managers. For example, let's say you are requiring a specific source for your project. And if that is the resource available in the department of functional manager, or even if it was available it could not provide it to you for some other reasons. This might cause conflicts between you and the functional manager. In order to avoid conflicts, project managers should show where project is headed. You should show the clear direction of the project, where we are aiming, where we are going, what is our target. You should inform constraints and objectives. What are the constraints of the project? And what are the objectives of the project? What are our constraints? What is, for example, our schedule constraint? What is the end of date of this project? What is the cost budget of this project? What we should exceed as a project team? These all should be informed to the project team. Inform contents of project charter. If you remember, project charter was containing level economics, high-level risk, high-level scope of the project. Therefore, if you inform the contents of the project charter to your project team, they will have the high level of information about your project. What is wanted, what is the initial scope, what are the high-level requirements, high-level risks of the project. Therefore, they will have higher commitment, and this will avoid conflicts in the project. You should also inform all key decisions to your project team, and you should also inform change. If there is a change in this affects activities or how they will perform activities in the project. In order to avoid future conflicts, you should inform these changes in your project. Also, you should assign these works as clearly as possible to your project team members. Otherwise, if they start to make assumptions for an activity that you have assigned to them, they might go in different directions than you planned in the beginning. Therefore, you should assign work, tasks, activities in your project clearly to your project resources. And you should also follow good project management and planning practices. Discrepancies in project management processes and project planning practices will cause conflicts in your project. There are generally 7 sources of conflict in projects. First one is the schedules. For example, if customer is requiring you to complete the project by the end of the year, and if there are delays and you cannot meet that deadline, then this might cause conflict between you and customer in your project. Priorities between project depending on the priorities of the project in an organization, data requirements might be weighted by the company, and this might cause conflicts in project. Third one is resources. Let's say you will need a specific resource for your project, but another project requires that specific resource from the functional manager of the resource as well as the same time. And since the other project has higher priority than your project, that resource might be provided to the other project. And this might cause a conflict between you and the functional manager, because although you need the same resource, the resource has been provided to the other project. Technical opinion, this might arise within the team members of your project. 2 team members of your project might think differently in adopting a technology or adopting a method in your project in a different way, and this can cause conflicts in the process. Administrative procedures, cost, and personality are also other sources of conflicts in process. Now, we will see the techniques for conflict resolution. First one is withdrawing or avoiding. This is the postponing the issue to be better prepared or to be resolved by others. So in this technique, you avoid the problem or you postpone the conflict in order to solve in future. Smoothing or accommodating. This is emphasizing areas of agreement rather than areas of difference. So in this technique, two parties might have different views, different solutions for a problem, but you emphasize the common parts of their areas, the common parts of their methods in order to find that agreement. This is called smoothing or accommodating. Third technique for conflict resolution is compromising or reconciling. And this is actually some degree of satisfaction of both parties. And since both parties do not have all they want, this is a lose-lose situation. Fourth technique for conflict resolution is forcing or directing. This is pushing one's viewpoint at the expense of others. This is a win-lose situation because only will one person happen and the others become unhappy because their viewpoint or their decision opinion is not accepted. And the last technique for the conflict resolution is collaborating and problem solving. The parties incorporate multiple viewpoints in order to lead to consensus. And this is leading to win-win situation projects because you brainstorm about the possible ways, possible methods to solve a problem or to resolve a conflict in this technique. And since you lead to a consensus, since everyone agrees at the end of this technique, this leads to win-win situation. Now we'll see also the other important topics, terms and theories about motivation and people management. First, expectancy theory. This theory implies that employees who believe their efforts will lead to effective performance and expected to be rewarded. So this theory says that everybody thinks that I am perfect and I will be rewarded. Second one is term arbitration. Arbitration is a neutral party evaluates a dispute. So if there is a problem between two parties, then a referee comes to solve a problem in order to have a neutral viewpoint to the problem. 3. Perks. Some employees receive special rewards, for example, free parking, executive dining, etc. Depending on the grade in the organization or depending on the years of experience in the company. Some employees may receive special rewards and this is called perks. 4. Fringe benefits. These are introduced standard benefits given to all employees. For example, tickets for lunch, shuttle service for employees, or insurance. If these are given or provided to all employees in the company, then these are called fringe benefits. 5. Motivation theory. There are different theories for motivation. These are McGregor's theory of X and Y, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, David McClelland's theory of needs, and here it is not written, but we will also see Herzberg's theory. McGregor's theory of X and Y. This theory states that all workers fit into one of two groups, X or Y. And theory X states that these people need close supervision, will avoid work when possible, will avoid responsibility, and they desire only money, and these are people that must be pushed to perform. So if your resources, or if there is a person fitting into this its category, this should be managed day to day, and they should be managed closely in order to be sure that they're working properly. And the people fitting into theory X group want independence in work, seek responsibility, are motivated by self-fulfillment, naturally want to work, and will drive themselves to perform. So these people are responsible and they are motivated by accomplishing challenging works, and they do not require supervision to perform their duties. And you can leave them independent after you assign their tasks. Now we'll see Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. This theory states that people are not motivated to work by security or money, and the highest motivation is to contribute and use their skills for a person. Based on Maslow's pyramid, which we will see in the next slide, people cannot ascend to the next level without fulfilling a previous level in Maslow's pyramid. Here we see Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or Maslow's pyramid. As you see, bottom level represent the psychological needs: food, water, warmth, and rest. First, a person needs food, water, warmth, and rest in order to live, in order to survive in the life. Then he needs security, safety in order to protect himself from the outer dangers, from the external dangers. And once psychological needs and safety of the people are provided, they need belongingness and love. So they seek for intimate relationships, friends, social networks, etc. Then they need prestige and feeling of accomplishment. They need to be recognized by their colleagues or by the friends in the fourth level of Maslow's pyramid. At the last, top level of Maslow's pyramid is self-actualization. And when a person achieves this level, he discovers his full potential, including creative activities. And as we said in the previous slide, based on Maslow's pyramid, person cannot ascend to the next level unless he fulfills the requirements of the previous levels. David McClelland's theory of needs. And this theory states that people are motivated by one of the three needs: achievement, affiliation, and power. Each person falling into different groups should be managed different than each other. For example, people falling into achievement group likes recognition and challenging but reachable projects motivate them. And the people falling into the second group, affiliation, seeks approval rather than recognition. And they work best when cooperating. For example, they cannot work on their own. They need always another person assisting them, or a teamwork will motivate them. But on the other hand, for the people following the achievement group, they like working alone. They don't want anybody working with them in an activity. The last group, if people are falling into power group in this theory, these people like organizing and influencing others. These people should be allowed to manage others. People falling into this category are motivated by management positions. Therefore, you should give them leading roles or management roles in projects or in an organization. The last theory is Herzberg's theory. This theory deals with two factors: hygiene factors and motivating agents. Hygiene factors are factors that non-existence of these factors may destroy motivation. But improving these hygiene factors may not increase motivation. For example, working conditions, salary, relationships at work, security. These are examples of hygiene factors. Let's say you're working on a spark skyscraper. It's a building, but you do not have enough salary for your profession or for your job. This doesn't affect your motivation since your salary is very low. Since your salary makes you unhappy, even if you are working a very good working condition, it will not motivate you. And this factor states that the work itself motivates the people. For example, a responsibility, self-actualization, professional growth, recognition motivates the people. For example, if people are seeing a career path, or if they cannot see that in future they will have higher positions in an organization, or if they see that they can't take reasonable responsibility, or they can't take feasible initiatives in an organization. These agents motivate people more than others.